Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. Now today I'd like to return back to Poland and take a look at one of their 24-hour SRGs. Now this is the SRG 7. It's a 24-hour pack and contains 3 meals. So let's get this on a table and see what this pack contains. And welcome back to part 2 of this Polish SRG 7 24-hour ration, and today I'm going to look at the lunch and dinner components, and I'm following the menu suggestions. So lunch menu 2 is pork rolls and rusks, so I'm following the menu suggestion and I've preheated the pork rolls. We have the dehydrated fruits, we have a lemon tea, a coffee, chocolate and some of the rusks or hardtack biscuits. So I like to always start off with the drinks, so I'm going to start there again. Now this is a coffee, instant coffee, so we'll just start off with the coffees, and it's a powder coffee, not granules, it's a fine powder. Let's see if I can show you in there, just a simple fine powder. And there is no whitener, but there is a 10-gram pack of sugar, so I should just add a little bit of the sugar. As you know by now, I do like my coffee white with sugar, but in this case it's going to have to be black with sugar. Let's move that to one side there, and we'll just top that using the spoons to about half a mug with hot water. Move that on the edge of the coaster there. Just give that a brief stir. And I think this time also I'm going to make the lemon tea with hot water. Last time I used it as a cold water mix. I'm going to try a hot lemon tea. So again, like previously, like in the breakfast in part 1, nice coarse looking granules. Show you those again, and this time, because obviously it's hot water, I'm going to do this one in a mug as opposed to a glass. Now it does look like a tea in colour, black tea. It's certainly not lemon sort of colour, no colouring. I'll show you there. So it looks like a black tea. We also have the mains, which I've preheated, boiled for about 5-10 minutes. It's pork rolls, this particular menu. Oh, that has just gone absolutely everywhere. One of those days, excuse me while I just sort of wipe myself down. And just empty those out. Now there's 2 very large looking rolls of pork. Still seem to be covered in the pork roll there. Try and wipe down everywhere, my table, everything has just got covered in the gravy. We also have some dehydrated fruits. So again, just look for a tear switch notch. Can't find a tear notch, so I should just bring in an old trusty friend. You just know it's going to be one of those days. And resealable bag there, gave me quite a little bit of trouble. Looks like there are strawberries and pineapples. I think I'll put it in up here. Apples, pears, just a mix of dehydrated fruit. We also have the famous Hardtack Biscuits. These ones look like they're a little bit broken, but obviously had a lot of damage to break these. I've seen videos on YouTube where people have driven over these with trucks and they still didn't crush. So to get broken in the pack must have had a few impacts, but there is 2 in this particular pack. I'll just get one out for now.
We also have the 100-gram bar of dark chocolate, 60% cocoa, one of my favourites. Looks like this one is also seen some battle damage. It's quite bloomed. It is 2 years past its best before, so we do sort of expect that. Just take a couple of little pieces out there just to show you. It is obviously a large bar, but quite damaged. We do have some salt and pepper on standby, and there is a little sweet candy for after. So, where do we start? I think we should take a look at the coffee. So there is a little coffee there. Nice, simple, medium roast, nice and sweet. Middle of the road, instant coffee, nothing overly special, very nice, very tasty. Now I don't know if you can hear that, so you have to excuse me, my phone's just decided to go. I need to go and just stop that, bear with me, one moment please. And I'm back, and apologies because it's going to be one of those days. As well as spilling all of my pork rolls, I've just had my phone go off in the middle of the review, but here we are, hopefully no more distractions. So I've just had a quick look at the coffee, and I think now we'll have a look at the tea. This is the lemon tea. This time it's hot. It's much stronger, much more of the sugar has dissolved in there. When you have it cold, it takes some dissolving. It's very mild, very reminiscent of a cold remedy we have here in the UK called Lemsips, which is a lemon flavoured drink with paracetamol and a few other sort of meds in there as for colds and flus. This is very similar tasting to that. So anybody that's had a Lemsip or the lemony cold drinks in its hot form, it's very reminiscent of that. Nice, tasty, sweet, gentle flavour of lemon. Now let's have a look at the pork rolls. Now it's in a gravy. There is two large looking rolls. They look like they're stuffed. Didn't realise, I was expecting them to be stuffed. So I think I'll bring in the knife and the fork. Let's cut one of those in half. So, oh, what a combination. They are filled with what looks like some, I don't know, gherkins, cabbage. There is a filling in there. So I'm going to try and have to cut these up and get some on the spoon to give these a try. Very interesting, very different looking dish to anything I've tried before. Let's try a little bit of that pork ball there. The pork, call them pork balls, sorry, pork rolls. The pork is quite firm, still got texture. There is a creamy centre, a creamy filling. There is a pickle in there. I think it's pickled cucumber, pickled gherkin, something along those sort of lines. Not quite sure whether that's a cheese in the centre. If it's a cheese, it's a very mild cream style cheese. Let me have a closer look there. I don't know if you can see. Mild, delicate. A pickle, a gherkin or cucumber, something along those lines in the centre. The sauce has a lot of fat in there. There's a lot of congealed fat from the pork. Herbs, spices, delicately flavoured. Salt, black pepper. I'm dripping it everywhere. I was bringing a little bit of a tissue there. You see the black pepper. Natural flavoured, almost like a soup type gravy. Very difficult to pick up to show you the contents of the pork roll. Sorry, I keep calling them a pork ball. Excuse fingers, making a right mess everywhere. Try not to drip it all over the bench. You can see the contents there. Very unusual, very tasty. The vegetables are pickled vegetables. There is a slight taste of vinegar in the centre there. But light, enjoyable, textured pork, filling, and very, very tasty. Very enjoyable. And take a look at these Hardtack biscuits. We've seen them many, many times before now. Always better to break them. Nice crisp snap. Caraway seeds. I always find these things are better to be broken in smaller pieces. Good, basic wheat cracker. Very hard, very tough. Actually go better in a juice, given time to soften. So I'm going to just add a few bits into the gravy there and come back to those in a minute. Have a little drink to refresh my palate. Moving on, we shall have a look at some of the dried fruits. I think there is strawberries, apples, pineapple. Try a little piece of that there. That was definitely apple. You can taste it. Once it rehydrates into your mouth, you can taste this is strawberry. You can see it's strawberry. Mixes with your saliva, reconstitutes into a little piece of fruit, soft fruit in your mouth. Light, crisp, lightweight, natural flavoured, natural pieces of fruit. Enjoyable, tasty, sweet. Take a look at this chocolate now. Bloomed. It's 2 years past its best before. 60% cocoa content. Brittle. Nice snap. Stays brittle in your mouth. It's quite a lot of chewing before it starts to melt, starts to dissolve, starts to coat your tongue with that lovely chocolatey, creamy flavour that most people enjoy. Good quality, not bitter, 60% cocoa. It's nicely balanced with the right amount of sugar. Nice, tasty, bloomed, but in no way damaged the flavour of the chocolate. Nice, enjoyable chocolate. Don't need the salt and pepper in this instance. It is just salt and pepper. Now this sweet, it is soft, it is soggy, it is actually, that's actually dissolved into a nothingness. Unfortunately that hasn't survived. This is 2 years past its best before, so this is 4 years old. Unfortunately just turned now into a sticky, gloopy mess. So I've had these before. They're normally very tasty, very enjoyable. They're normally a hard candy, but this one, as you can see, has just, from age, it's just gone. It's no longer, it's probably edible, but it's just not going to be enjoyable. So on this occasion, sticking all over to my hands, I'm going to have to just throw that one away if I can get it to leave my fingers. So, brief recap. Coffee, fine powder, middle of the road, not at all bitter. The addition of some milk would make this a perfect instant coffee for me. Good, enjoyable, good, reliable taste of home. Decent coffee, decent instant. The lemon tea, personally I think they are better hot. They dissolve better. They seem to release more of the flavours. Certainly a lot sweeter. This particular one being lemon. Very reminiscent of a lemsip or lemon style cold and flu remedy we get here in the UK. But if you're not used to that, it is just a lemon flavoured hot drink. A little bit of tartness left to it. Not too sweet. The pork rolls. They are stuffed pieces of pork. Excuse fingers, I'm getting this everywhere today. I'm making a right mess. Stuffed pieces of pork in a roll. The meat has still got texture. The gravy is delicate and light with just herbs, simple spices and salt and black pepper, I would say. The centre has a pickled, it could be a cucumber, gherkin, that sort of pickle. Filling, tasty, enjoyable. Certainly something different I've not tried before, and I'd have no hesitation in eating this again. No extra salt and pepper needed. Nice juice, nice gravy. The biscuits, much better, given a little time to soak up some of those juices and soften. Hardtack, crispy, caraway seeds. Need to very messy meal, getting it all over me. Much better if you soften them up. Chocolate, good quality, brittle, takes a little bit of biting before it starts to dissolve into that chocolate so that coats your tongue. Once it does, not bitter at all, enjoyable, rich, creamy, good quality chocolate. Even though this is bloomed, that has certainly not damaged it. And the dried fruits are just that, dehydrated fruit. The moment you put it in your mouth, it instantly turns back into the reminiscent of the fruit that it was. Good flavour, natural, not sweetened, nice, tasty fruit pieces. So, overall, a very satisfactory, very enjoyable lunch. So join me in a moment for what I would consider the evening meal or dinner. And welcome back to this part 3 of the Polish SRG7 24-hour ration. Now this particular meal is the last meal of the 3, and it's still, I would consider, the evening meal or dinner. Now, to avoid any more little mishaps like I had with the last one, I've already opened and pre-boiled the tin, and in this case it is pork in its own juices. It recommends some more of the crisp breads. We have some plum jam. There is a fig and cereal bar, and the other flavour of the teas is the raspberry. With a little bit of unsuccessful with the fruit sweets, but we have a coffee sweet to try, and there is salt and pepper on standby again just in case. So as always, let's start with the drinks. This is another one of the teas. There was 5 in total, 3 lemon, a fruits of the forest, and this is the other flavour, which is raspberry. And again, I'm going to have this one cold. They do seem to be much sweeter and much more easily dissolved in the hot water, but again, it's now quite a warm day out, so another cold drink would be nice. Like before, large granules, and takes quite a lot of stirring, a little bit of cold water, and we'll get quite a lot of stirring because those large granules don't seem to dissolve as well in the cold water as it does the hot, as is usually the case. So just give that a good stir and then give it a couple of minutes to soften and do its thing. Now we have a fig and cereal bar, so it's mainly like a compressed fig bar. It's on edible rice paper on the side there, so that is a compressed fig bar. I have opened the pork in its own juices, so again, nice large piece of pork, very hot. I'm just going to empty that out. So basically I think own juices means in fat, so it's pork in its fat. Here, I'm to wipe my hands. I have some of the crisp breads open from the breakfast, so I shall be bringing those back out again. So we still have some of those. There is another full pack to go, a couple of the crisp breads, and we'll have a look at the plum jam. Nice looking plum jam there. So as always, start with the raspberry tea. So nice light colour, a little bit of sugar on the top there. Like the first one, very delicately flavoured, artificial raspberry, lightly sweetened, very delicately done, nice, cold, refreshing juice drink. Do seem to be a lot sweeter if you make them with hot water. Obviously the sugar dissolves more instantly, but still a nice, cool, refreshing raspberry drink there. Now I think we're going to go straight into the pork. As you can see, there's a large chunk of pork there. Looks like it is processed, it is minced pork, it's been ground ground pork and then compressed into a block for the tin. So we'll get a little piece there, try and avoid some of these drips. I'm making an awful mess with these Polish rations there. So nice piece of pork, nothing else, no vegetables, just the pork there. Salty, soft, as you can imagine, in its own juices, quite fatty. It's been well stewed. It's like a pulled pork in texture, falls apart in your mouth. Just you need your tongue. Your tongue is enough just to break it apart. You don't necessarily need the teeth. Quite a lot of salt, pulled pork in texture, quite a lot of the pork fat flavour, but filling, tasty, enjoyable. Would be nice if there was a few vegetables in there, I think, just for a bit of variety, but it is just as it looks, a big slab of pulled pork, textured pork in its own fat, which is rendered down. Quite salty, quite a large addition of salt, but very tasty all the same. Now again, crisp breads, we've seen these in the breakfast or the part 1 video. Nice, crisp, made out of rye, 2 years past its best, still plenty of freshness in them. Obviously designed as a base cracker, or in there as a base cracker to add a little bit more calorific value to the mains. As you would expect, good all round background bit of crunch. Maybe a little bit absorbent for the fat. It does take on the fat. It soaks straight in. Personally, if I was to eat the whole tin of this, I think I'd feel quite sick. Not from the taste, just from the pure volume of the fat. I think it would lie in my stomach and just feel uncomfortable. But the meat itself, if it's drained, is certainly salty and pleasant. Just a very high fat and salt content. Moving along, we'll have a look at this plum jam. I only have the spoon now. I've dirtied the knife and fork, so we'll just give that a little bit of a stir, a little bit of separation. It's very soft, not very well set, quite liquid. It's quite tart. A lot of sugar, but there's still a tartness to it. Not the sweetest jam out there, but pleasant. Natural fruit, no mistaking. It's a natural fruit. Can taste the plums, tell it's a plum jam. Try a little bit on the base of the cracker. Again, to make like a little dessert. Again, just replaces bread for bread and jam. A little bit crunchy, nice, good background. With the crunch, make that jam go a little bit further. Good quality fruit jam. It's a little bit underset. Finally, just need to refresh my palate again. Finally, we have this. Oh, the paper is edible, but it has come off there, so we'll remove it. Fig, compressed fig bar, fig and cereal. And bite of that. Just what it tastes like. I think most people know what dried figs are. That's exactly what it tastes of. Just feels like dried figs, probably been through a pair of rollers, compressed into this flat wafer style biscuit. A little bit of crunch there from some cereal. I'd hazard a guess that it's oats, but that would just be a guess. But there's a cereal in there. But the predominant flavour is dry fig. Nice, tasty, moist. Just try a little bit of the jam on the fig there, just to give it a little bit of extra sweetness. That is a good combination. That is a better combination than the crisp bread, the fig bar with the plum jam. Very nice, very sweet. Bit of after meal dessert. Finally, we have a little coffee sweet. There was 3 of these, 3 of each. 3 of the guns, 3 of the coffee sweets, 3 of the vitamin C candies. Dark looking hard candy, hard sweet. Good, strong coffee flavour. Still firm, not at all gone soft like they had with the fruit ones. Nice, strong, coffee tasting, enjoyable hard candy. I do need to remove that. That's why I finish off the video. So, brief recap. The raspberry flavoured drink, as with the first one, cold water, it's a little less in flavour, a little less in sweetness, but it's very light, very refreshing, very delicate and not overly coloured. Nice, simple, refreshing cold drink. The mains, big chunk of pulled pork recompressed back into a block to fit into the tin. It is soft, it is salty. The only other thing in there is the salt and the fat, melted fat. With that, it does make it a very fatty, very oily meal. Personally, as I said, I would find that amount of oil, that amount of fat upsetting to my stomach, but the meat itself, salty, but certainly a nice, enjoyable chunk of meat. Crisp breads still are 2 years past its date, nice and light, rye, good quality background base cracker. A fig bar, just compressed figs with some oats maybe, or some cereal certainly. Nice on its own, natural tasting fig, went exceptionally well with the plum jam. Plum jam, slightly tart, not over sweet, certainly has a flavour of plum. You can tell that's a plum, nice, enjoyable jam. So, I'm going to leave it here. That was the entire contents of this Polish SRG 7. Overall, very enjoyable, very filling meals, all 3, breakfast, lunch and dinner. So I'm going to leave it here. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and hit that notification button for future videos coming very soon. So thank you and goodbye.